They so cute and all the little cute, and Bill Cosby made a joke that when they little and every day, even when they go to the bathroom, oh the little poo poo, oh the poo poo even cute, little poo poo's cute, until they get older and stink come in the poo poo, and it ain't cute no more. Until they get older and they do something, and sometimes they can do something so severe that it will break your heart. That your child, I can imagine how a parent will feel knowing their child is a murderer. That the child that I raised grew up to take someone else's life. So here, because of our blatant sin, it grieved God that He made us. All right? And so now, from innocence to conscience, we now fall into the dispensation of human government. The dispensation of human government, God makes promises and gave commands to Noah and his family on how to live in the regenerated world after the flood. This is found in Genesis 8, 1 through 9. All right. It says in Genesis 11, 1 through 9, how God gave Noah, because the reason why Noah and his family was spared through the flood, because Noah was a righteous man. And he found favor with God, okay? And with the favor Noah had, it saved his wife, his 3 sons, and his 3 daughters. 8 people survived the flood because of the righteousness of one man. Mind you, at this time, the world in that hemisphere was populated. So now, God gives instructions on how to govern yourself. After that government comes the dispensation of promise, which is found in Genesis 12, 1 through 7. The dispensation of promise is now after man failed to be able to control himself, and after the flood, the call of Abraham and the patriarchs to follow, God makes a promise that I will no longer destroy the earth or the world, being the people. The earth is the planet. The world is the people. I will no longer destroy the world with water, but next time with fire. So as a reminder of my promise, after the rains, I will set a bow in the sky. That's where we get the rainbow from. To this day, when it rains and the sun comes up, you can see the rainbow. The rainbow is a reminder of what God promised Abraham back then, that I will not let it rain 40 days and 40 nights no more. I will no longer destroy or judge the world with water, but next time it will be with fire. All right? Now, if we already had the water, what's to come? The fire. The water has already come. We are descendants of the generation of Noah. The descendants of Adam up to Noah all died in the flood. We are the descendants of the generation that repopulated after Noah. All right? And that's the dispensation of promise. Now, after God has moved, or we move from innocence to conscience, to human government, to the promise, do you think folks were still able to live according to God's word? No. So now what do you think had to come? The law. The law. Exodus 19 through 23 talks about the law, the 10 Commandments, which was given to Moses. A law written on stone tablets, a law for people can see how to live. This was the first written legislation to man. The 10 Commandments came straight from God. Moses didn't sit there and chisel them out. God wrote them and imprinted them on the stone tablets. Y'all know the story. After he met with God on Mount Sinai, when he was on his way down, he had to ask him, okay, now when I go back and talk to the folk, who do I say sent me? God said, tell them that I have sent you. Now we have written law from God, not from man. We have written instructions now on how we ought to conduct ourselves straight from God. Unlike Noah, who was a righteous man, unlike Noah, who was given human government on how to conduct themselves, mankind as a whole couldn't do it. So now here comes the law to tell you how to live. But don't we have laws today?
Yes.
In 2016? And even with the written law we have, do people still break the law?
Yes.
So we know that a law can be written, but folks will still break it. Now, because people break the law, does it make the law wrong? But when people break the law, it only enforces the law. Right? So God's law is not wrong when we break it. It just points out the fact of us being wrong in his law. All right? We see also in Hosea 6:6, God shows his mercy to the people. God shows his mercy to the people because he gives an example to the prophet Hosea, who, well, unlike other prophets, were permitted to marry. But God told him who he had to marry. He married a woman named Gomer, who was a well-known prostitute. And y'all know the story. Hosea married Gomer, and she was in the house for a little while until that old nature rose and put her back out in the street. Y'all know the saying, you can't make a housewife. Y'all know. And so no matter how much she even tried, her nature was just them streets. But every time she went back into them streets, God commanded Hosea to go get her. He had to go get her, sis, and ask the men that she was with, can I have my wife back? She ain't do it one time. She ain't do it 2 times. It was habitual. But God was showing his mercy towards his people. How we are with him for a little while, then when our nature rise, we go whoring after other gods. And when we get our lusts satisfied, or we get our hearts broken, and we get dragged in the mud, then here we come back to God, and he's right there to take us back. And once he picks us up out of the bar and turns us around and washes us and says, we do good for a little while till our nature rise, and we go right back whoring after other gods. God was showing Hosea that in Gomer is the nature of his children. But in Hosea going to get her and receiving her back was the love of God. Now, what do you think happened? After the law, still folks couldn't get it. We used to sing a song in the church, when nothing else would help. When nothing else would help. Love lifted. So after the dispensation of law comes the dispensation of grace. And who brought the grace? Jesus brought the grace. When he came, he didn't come to condemn, but he came to save and seek them that are lost. So through God sending his son, we now have grace and mercy instead of judgment and death. Luke 22:20, Daniel 9:24. There's so many different references. Hebrews 10:10 and 14. Romans 5:1. Romans 3:29-30. Galatians 3:7-29. John 14:16-26. So many different references on grace. And what is grace? God's unmerited favor. Unmerited means we didn't deserve it. His unmerited favor, what? Towards us. The first dispensation, innocence, has passed. Second dispensation of consciousness has passed. Third dispensation of human government has passed. The fourth dispensation of promise has passed, yet the promise remains. The fifth dispensation of law has passed, but yet his law remains. But we are now living currently in 2016 in the dispensation of grace. We are in the sixth dispensation. Now, I told you it was seven. The seventh dispensation, or the next dispensation to come, is the millennial kingdom of Christ, where Satan is defeated, bound for 1,000 years. This is not the rapture, because in the rapture, Jesus will meet us in the air. His reign will be on the earth. So that would be the second coming. The rapture and second coming are two different things. Just think about it. The second coming, he's coming back on earth to walk, to be on earth again. The second time. The second time. The rapture, he's not going to touch earth. He's going to rapture the church from the earth. But what's to come, which we will be getting into the next few weeks, what's to come will be the millennial reign of Christ, which 1,000 years is how long in God's sight?
1 day.
1 day. You know, man, from the creation of Adam to the day, man has only been in existence for 6,000 years. 6,000 years. So in God's sight, man hasn't even existed a whole week.
6 days. Wow.
In God's sight, from the creation of Adam to 2016, man has only existed 6 days. You got the tribulation period. That's going to last 7 years. That's going to happen. You got the war of Armageddon. That's going to happen. Then you have the ages of ages that's going to happen. So there are some things, yes, that we read in the Bible that has happened already. That's history. Already happened. But there are some things in the Bible that's going to happen. That might even happen in our lifetime that we're going to learn in the next few weeks. All right?
Amen.
And so that's our introduction of things to come. But I want to start with the dispensations. There's 7, remember? Innocence, didn't know nothing. Conscience, now you know. Human government, now you know better. Promise, I'm not going to destroy no more with water. 5, here's the law for y'all to go by. 6, what law won't do, love will. 7, Jesus to come back and to rule 1 day on earth. The tribulation period, 7 years. The great war of Armageddon. And then eternity on in. All right?
Amen.
Any questions? God bless until next week. Come on, give God some praise.